Welcome to Japji Sahib, Pauri 10. Listening is a passive action. What do I mean by that? When you have to see something, you at least have to open your eyelids. Yeah? There is an action involved, an active assistance of yours is required. In listening, you don't have to open your ears. They are open only. So it is more of a passive action. You don't have to make an effort, much effort to listen. When you are in shunyata, when you manage to get in between the gap between the two words, in that silence, in that shunyata, just be, just be, just be. Listening is not an action where you will have to make an effort. You just be effortless, 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 listening to the sound of silence. Just be, just be, just be. Listening to the shunyata, you get dissolved in shunyata. You see, you get there by an effortless effort. This is the closest possibility to non-doership, to akarta bhav. Yeah? And there is in everything there is a karta bhav. In every action that I do, there is this I that comes up. Yeah? The closest akarta bhav action available to a human is listening. That is why Nanak gave this a lot of importance, because you can easily go into shunyata by just effortlessly being, effortlessly listening to the sound of silence, dropping the chit-chat, emptying the room. You go into silence of the self, and that silence is Sat. Sat means truth. That is the truth. Truth is not that which is said. Truth is that which is not said. Truth is not in sound. Truth is in the silence. Listen to the silence. Then you are closest to the truth of your own self. Just be, just be. A restlessness arises. There's something in you that does not like being in the silence. It's nothing but a past habit pattern of self-talk, of noise in the mind. It constantly wants drama. It constantly wants action, lights. But when you are dissolving in that gap, in that shunyata, there is no action. There is no lights. And that restlessness of the ego comes up, which feels like, oh, I am not the center of attraction here. Nobody is looking. I'm modeling, but nobody is even appreciating my, ramp walk. So the ego tries to bring up this restlessness. You recognize, oh, it is just the dance of the ego, and drop, drop, drop. Initially, it will be a little tough to be in that shunyata, because the ego is trying to pull your attention, and in the past you have always given into the ego. It's ragas, it's dveshas, what it wants to do, what it doesn't want to do, you've always given into it. But now you are standing firm, centered, quiet, and how much ever it tries to pull your attention from this side or that side, don't give into it. It'll automatically let go. Like a child that screams, I want this toy, and if mommy just ignores, then the child cries, and then he gives up. Mommy probably does not have the money to buy him a toy car that is so huge, in which he can sit and really drive on the footpath. So mommy just ignores, and Finally, the child cries, cries, and gives up. Like that, the ego will give up. You just empty the room. Empty, empty, empty. When you get established in that shunyata, in that quiet centeredness, in that silence within, you are with truth. That is truth. Truth is silence. Truth is not noise. Truth is not words. Truth is not that which is said through the lips. Truth is the state of your own being. Truth is who you really are. Be with that truth. Everything else is just fake. It is just for getting through this materialistic world of people, situations, and things, and for communication, for being able to deal with this external world. That fakeness is not required here. If you take it here, you will never meet yourself. Drop. Just like when you enter a temple, you drop your shoes. Just like that, when you enter the temple of the self, you must drop the shoes called ego. The shoes are fake. You can only enter this temple without any shoes, clean of any fakeness, absolutely pure, absolutely virgin, absolutely naked. That is the only way to connect to your own self. This is called Sat. This is called the truth. And only when you are in this truth can you experience contentment. Contentment is not something that you can experience without this authenticity, without being true to your own self. Contentment can only be found in truth, not in the noise of the world, not in words, not in external relationships with this material world. But contentment can only be found in that silence within, in that silence between two thoughts, in the gap. That's where you meet yourself. So, Pauri 10. सुनिए सत संतोख ज्ञान, सुनिए अथ सट काय स्नान, सुनिए पढ़ पढ़ पावै मान, सुनिए लागे सहज ध्यान, नानक भगता सदा विगास, सुनिए दुख पाप का नाश. सुनिए सत संतोख ज्ञान. Just by being in that shunyata, in that silence, by listening to that silence, by dissolving in that silence, can you attain the truth. The truth is nothing else but that emptiness. Don't expect some words to come up there. Oh, I attained the truth today. There was this white color lightning or blue color lightning, and then this appeared or that appeared. No. Nothing appears. Nothing disappears. It just is nothingness, emptiness, pure silence. That is Sat. That is the truth. That nothingness, that silence, that shunyata is who you are. You are not noise. You are not a bundle of sound. You are not just a body-mind complex. This is just a vehicle. The real you is that silence. So, when he says Suniye Sat, You attain that Sat just by being in that Shunyata. You meet yourself basically. And that is where lies Santok. Santok is contentment. And Gyan. Gyan is wisdom. We think wisdom is in words. It is a wrong understanding. Wisdom is in silence. In that shunyata, in that silence, what you experience as yourself is wisdom. When you meet yourself, that is wisdom. That can only be silence, that can only be shunyata, that can only be nothingness. It cannot be put into words. That is why so many sages, so many gurus, masters have been trying to put the truth in words, but words always fall short because words are only for external. For the internal, all you need is silence. Connect to your own self through silence. So you start working on it today. You don't need a guru. You don't need any teaching. You don't need a technique. You don't need an organization. And really, you don't need a friend or a companion to walk with you. So you don't need a community, the so-called spiritual community. All these are external. These are all sounds. These are all noises. Yes, when you're down in the dumps, this helps you come up. It pulls you up. But that's all its real usefulness lies in. That's it. The usefulness is exhausted there. Then, if you keep carrying on, then you are stuck at the same stage. It is just like something that helps you pull the rope that pulls you out of the marsh. You've come out of the marsh, now you are on the ground. Fantastic. It makes no sense keeping the rope tied to yourself. Then that is bondage. A lot of people are stuck to techniques, are stuck to gurus, are stuck to organizations, are stuck to certain teachings, certain belief systems, and then they call it the Hindu belief or this organization's belief or that belief, and then it's like keeping the rope tied to your body even after you've come out of the marsh. This is the time to drop the rope and now go within, because you're no more in the marsh. This is the closest you can be towards the sky. Go into the sky of nothingness. Go into shunyata. Be in that shunyata. It is a wrong understanding that to awaken or to get enlightened, you will have to work for a lot of years and you will have to purify yourself and you will have to do this and you will have to do that, and then only can you awaken. This is a wrong understanding. Awakening can happen even to a terrorist. If he finds the shunyata in that gap, he manages to go within and be in that silence. All meditation techniques of the world, given by all masters, given by all scriptures, given by all religions, have only one common goal: to bring you to that shunyata. If you have understood this and if you can manage to just go into that shunyata, fantastic, you've got a taste of it. Now gather the courage to dive into that ocean. Yeah? You just tasted the water. Now dive, dive, dive. Yes, because you don't know, you're not familiar with the ocean, you will gasp for breath, you will come up to the surface. It's okay, only with practice can you go in. Nobody else can push you in from the top. It will not work. Do you see what I'm saying? Only you, with your own willingness, when you voluntarily want to go into the depth, you center yourself, let go of the fears, let go of all worries, anxiety, and just go dissolve into that shunyata, in that nothingness, into that depth. You become quieter and quieter and quieter. You start listening to your own heartbeat. You start listening to the gush of your blood. Automatically the spine straightens up because you are making an attempt to listen to the sound of silence. And now there is no more thoughts bothering you. Everything was just at the surface. Now you have dived deep inside. So keep going, keep going, keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. Only there can you recognize who you are. You are that silence. Don't now make an attempt to come up with words. There are no words that can describe who you are. That silence, that nothingness, that is you. The understanding of that I am, that nothingness, that silence, that peace itself is contentment. You are contentment. And this recognition is Gyan, is wisdom. Clear? Suniye Atsat ka isnan. Just by listening to that silence, you take that cleansing bath at the 68 places of pilgrimage. At Sat is 68. 68 pilgrimages. On one hand, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, oh, by taking a bath in the Ganga or in any holy river, your sins are not going to get washed away. These are just rituals. And now he's talking about visiting 68 pilgrimages. What does it mean? This is contradictory. There is no contradiction. When you go into the silence and dive deeper and deeper and deeper, you don't have to count them because you are not that kind of a scientist like Buddha or Patanjali or Guru Nanak Dev Ji who went in and explored the depths. But in the depths of the silence of your own self, you climb higher and higher into silence, or you can see you go deeper and deeper into silence. So there are these 68 levels where you let go of the noise and go deeper into silence. You let go and you go deeper into silence. So you can see you surrender, you offer your whatever, anger, your hatred, your jealousy, your craving, your aversions, all your ragas and dveshas, you keep offering, 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 offering. And then it's like visiting 68 places of offering where you give, let go of these thoughts, let go of that thought that is disturbing me, let go of this emotion, let go of that, and you reach that silent place where there is no more stuff left in you to let go. These 68 pilgrimages are in your own body, in your own mind, within this little creation. Yeah. So you will go through several levels of thoughts and emotions and disturbing ideas that try to pull you up. The dances of Maya, the dance of the ego will pull you out. Yeah? And you just keep going, keep going, keep going, diving into that shunyata, and you will finally rest. So just by listening, listening, listening to that sound of silence and ignoring all other sounds, you can cross or offer yourself at these 68 pilgrimages. Suniye pad pad pavai man. By listening, you attain honor just by that shunyata. How can you attain honor in this world? A shift happens in you. When you taste shunyata, silence, the futility of words, of unnecessary speaking from the lips, as well as unnecessary self-talk becomes very clear to you. So with constant practice of shunyata, initially it won't happen, but with some practice, this talking will reduce, and then you'll find, oh, there are a few seconds where I'm not talking, and then slowly these few seconds will become half a minute, and then you say, oh, half a minute I was quiet, there was no self-talk, half a minute of shunyata in between two words. Excellent, great milestone achieved. And slowly, slowly you'll notice, oh, there's 1 minute of silence here. And finally, you will come to a point where this is quiet for a long time. Yeah? Let me set the expectation. A continuous practice of this for 6 months will at least bring you to 1 minute of silence here. Yeah? This is the worst case scenario for somebody who practices very regularly. Yeah? So if you want to take this up as a homework for 6 months, again and again, just being in that shunyata, whenever you get a chance, doesn't matter, at home, at work, when you're meditating during meditation hours or during open-eyed hours, just making that attempt to be in that shunyata. Ignore, empty the room, empty, empty, not important, not important, not important, futile, unnecessary, not required. Just be, just be, just be, just be. If a thought comes up, now make an attempt. Is this really important? Oh, what a stupid thought. Yeah, I'm talking to myself about the color of the wings of that bird. I'm not different from that crazy man in the mental asylum. The only difference is I'm talking quietly, he's talking loudly. There is no difference. Recognize the futility, shame that thought. So such futile, stupid thoughts drop away, drop away, drop away. Shame your own ego. By doing so, the nonsensical thoughts drop away, because now the ego has to try to impress you, has to come up with even more sophisticated, polished thoughts so that you give it attention. Yeah. Every sophisticated, polished thought dressed up in suit and boot is really nonsensical. Start recognizing this. Start recognizing this. And the more you work on yourself, you will see that within 6 months, you have attained that shunyata just by dropping the futile thoughts. This is futile. This is futile. Oh, this also, so nonsensical. Do I have to think about this? Shame your own ego. Then just go into that silence that happens after the ego is ashamed. The culmination of feverishness leads to a little period of silence. Be in that silence. That silence will again go away by another thought. Again, shame the ego. By the culmination of the feverishness of the ego, again another little period of silence will come up. Be in that silence. Be in that silence. Be in that silence. The silence in the gap between two thoughts can only take you there. Keep practicing being in shunyata. That's how you obtain man, or honor, outside. Because you become such a quiet person, you will notice that you don't speak nonsensical stuff anymore. Because you have started shaming the nonsensical stuff in your own head, your speech becomes pure. And then automatically you command respect. You don't have to demand it anymore. You command respect, command honor or man. Yeah? And pad, what are you reading? You're reading your own self, your own mind, your own thoughts. Yeah? Suniye pad, pavai man. Is that clear? Next is Suniye lagai sahaj dhyan. By now, this is very clear that by listening to the silence, intuitively you grasp the essence of meditation. You understand what is meditation. Till now, it was not clear really what is meditation. But now you start grasping the essence of meditation. Just diving into that silence is meditation. Being in the shunyata of the self, of who I am, is meditation. This starts becoming very clear, but warning, it becomes clear only to the one who practices shunyata, not who just listens to shunyata and intellectually understands it. One who practices listening to the shunyata, listening to the silence within and being with that silence and dissolving in that silence and becoming one with that silence. Clear? Nanak Bhakta Sada Vikas. The devotee is forever in bliss. He is ever blossoming, infinitely blossoming in bliss. Obviously, when you are in shunyata, there is nothing else left. You are going to blossom in bliss. Suniye dukh paap ka nash. Paap again is nothing but this chit chat in my own mind that causes stress, that causes pressure, that causes tension. And that is the only cause for my misery. The cause for my misery is not external, is not in people, situations, and things. Till the time I think it is in external people, situations, and things, I will not be able to connect with the silence within. Paap is my own chit chat in my own mind. Recognizing that the culprit is the chit chat, and two, I have a way, a methodology to get rid of this chit chat. What is the methodology? Suni, the gap in between two thoughts. Dissolving into that silence, dissolving into that shunyata, the noise of the mind, the chit chat of the mind, that which was the paap or the sin gets destroyed. You start working on yourself. Dissolve in that shunyata. Just be, just be. Actually, there is nothing to do. This is the closest to an akarta bhav, non-doership. There's nothing to do. Dissolve in that not doing, in that being. And blossom infinitely. Suniye dukh paap ka nash.